So if somebody has suffered a trauma or repeated abuse, or they've had a shock that they can't really filter out. Remember, right at the beginning we said the function of the aura is to filter information. You may see or douse some kind of disturbance in the aura. Maybe rips and tears. Maybe the fixed thinking becomes thick and muddy. Or we have these forms. But what's important to know about this body is it's not so much the actual structure or the colours that are so important, it's its actual mass. As I say, the mass will change according to mood. So the more sort of heavier the thoughts become, the more dense the mass becomes. And we talked about how each aura layer or each etheric body has like a structure to it. The structure of this particular body is like spirals, and what you'll see is like it moves like that, if you like clouds. Remember the clouds across the sky idea? And if somebody's got very sort of upbeat thoughts, the resonance is up. But if somebody has very downbeat thoughts, the resonance is down and down and down. So you can see somebody getting dragged down by depression, dragged down by people who are around them, if you watch it. But what also happens then, do you remember how I talked about how there was like a structure to the aura, and they kind of need their space, and sometimes the energy can get displaced or pushed down? Specifically with this, if somebody has like really real density, it becomes heavy and it pushes everything down. So for example, if you've got money troubles, it's really hard to be ambitious anymore. Or if you are thinking about how negative your marriage is, it's hard to be ambitious for your marriage anymore. So it will drag it down. But so finances, relationships, thoughts about pressures at work, education, you can kind of see them all, because what you'll see is the flashes through with the colour gives you an indication really of what kind of thoughts are bringing it down, but it pushes it down. So it is the most kind of comprehensive, but also the most complex of all the bodies, because it does this interesting reaching thing, which Mum had pointed out to me, and I was like, well, I don't see that in any other body. And she said, no, neither do I. So this idea of like, I've got to make a decision. What do I need to think about? I need to think about my emotions. I need to think about my ambition. But then also it might reach through and it'll have to bypass conditioning. Conditioning comes like social conditioning, karmic conditioning will also influence it. So it has like this bi-directional reaching between. And because of that, then you get like sometimes get a lumpiness to it. So it will pull in one direction and not the other. So yeah, interesting. It's a really interesting body. And it's kind of, Rudolf Steiner talks about how he breaks the bodies into two, and he calls these, the ones that are closest to the body, the lower resonance bodies, and then you've got the higher resonance bodies. So these kind of pertain to what we recognize day to day in ourselves, right? And then he talks about the higher stuff becomes more spiritual. So this is about reasoning, about logic, about the everyday stuff that you do, but also it's like a pattern of everything, a repository of everything that happened before. So really interesting. So when we're dowsing it, we will look not just at colours, but also can we see the direction of the flow, up or down? Can we see any tears? Can we see thought forms? I've never come across a thought form in a drawing, but maybe we will. So yeah, and this idea of it protruding? Does it keep its shape? All very interesting.